Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Sunday. We are continuing the reading, another installment of this epic playlist by this point, How to Get Anything You Want. Ding. This is our book. We are going through it together, word by word, and I'm sharing stories and doing a little teaching and really breaking down all of her beautiful metaphors. Elsie Lincoln Benedict, this cutie back here. I love her so much. I broke a nail, my middle finger. I won't flip you guys off, but I broke a nail today. You know what? I always get my nails done. I actually might take a little siesta and have just my naked nails just to breathe. We'll see. To be continued. Okay. Rule number 3 we left off on. We're on lesson 5. Prepare for what you want. If you missed any of the previous readings, there is an epic playlist. Believe this is number 65. Number 65 in this playlist, How to Get Anything You Want on YouTube. If you are on Facebook, hop on over to YouTube. We are growing our community. Thank you so much. I love your support, and I'm so grateful. So, rule number 3, encourage yourself to seek and to create the atmosphere and attitudes that go with this thing you want. So, we're talking about the things that we want, bathing our mind with what we want. There is no such thing as a neutral thought. If you are not consciously aware that you are putting positive thoughts or like moving your attention to what you want, it will by default go to whatever you've been thinking, creating, and what other people around you have been thinking and creating. Okay. It could be a good thing or a bad thing, right? If your dad's Tony Robbins, you're good to go. But most of us have not been programmed in a way that is conducive to our deepest fulfillment and abundance in life. Unfortunately, past generations have dealt with harder times, scarcity, lack, poverty. And if we don't rewire and change it ourselves, that is just the standard. That is the epigenetically passed down programming survival mode that we get to inherit. So yeah. And we can either do it, learn through joy or learn through pain. Most of us learn through pain. Um, but, and don't get me wrong, changing and growing is challenging. And it can be uncomfortable, but it doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be painful. And we don't have to wait to hit a rock bottom. Most of the time, it's not that we wait until we hit rock bottom or we're in so much pain we have to change. It's we're not supposed to move before then because there's lessons to learn in the lower frequency. And so as we continue to move up, like the floors, the frequencies within our inner home, as I teach in other videos, we might, when we feel a little wonky, I think I mentioned it a couple videos ago, we might be at the bottom of the next level for us. So if we feel like we're just like nothing's happening. We're really down on ourselves and we're doing okay and we're proud of ourselves and we're doing our work, but we just feel down. It's probably because you're on the lowest level of the next building you're in. And then you'll get, it's like the mountains. They say you climb the mountain, you get to the top, and then you realize there's another mountain. Oh, here we go. It never stops. Our growth never stops. There's no finish line. Um, so yeah, we were just talking yesterday about surrounding ourselves with positive things. And if you inherit epigenetically the programming of your parents and your grandparents and your great grandparents and what have they been through, how were their nervous systems programmed and wired for protection? Wow. And I shared a little bit about, alcoholism running in my family and me having to break through that. I'm 6 years sober now, thank God. And anxiety. Anxiety. I didn't even know what anxiety was until I was like 30. I went and got an EKG at 12 years old because I had heart palpitations and they couldn't figure it out. This was, let's see, maybe I was 11. I was probably 11. So it had to have been, okay, so I was born in 83, 83, 93, 94. In 1994, 11-year-old Carla strolled into an appointment we had because my heart kept skipping beats. My heart was palpitating. And they couldn't figure out why. They put me on a treadmill. Nobody asked if I was worried, and I don't blame anybody. They didn't know. I didn't know. But I was hyper vigilant, always worried, fearful, like afraid things, something bad was going to happen. And on the outside, no one would ever know that I was a happy, jolly clown of a kid, right? Class clown. But inside, in the inner world, my thoughts were having a physical effect. That's what happens when we continue to stay in a certain mood, it manifests. And so that word is used like people think, oh, manifestation. It's like, look, a manifestation means a physical representation or like a result that we can tangibly see with our five physical senses or smell, taste, or touch, whatever we can perceive. A manifested whatever from an unseen energy. So a lot of times now you'll hear in the medical community like the worry, the anxiety, the panic, the heartbreak, the trauma resulted in the manifestation of an ulcer, resulted in the manifestation of a heart attack. The manifestation, it's like our psychology becomes our biology, our psychology becomes our physiology. That's why it's so important to check in with ourselves. What are we thinking? What are our predominant moods? What are our predominant moods? You know? And they'll change always. We're human. It's not to say we're always going to be happy or jolly or down and depressed. It's like we're always going to fluctuate. We're going to be the basement to the penthouse and everywhere in between. But where do we dwell primarily? What's our baseline? All right. So encourage yourself to seek and to create the atmosphere and attitudes that go with this thing you want. For instance, if you wish to be a minister, a missionary, a social worker, or anything unusual in this field, place yourself as frequently as possible in this atmosphere. What she's really saying, and I love this word frequently, like, do you frequent this coffee shop? Do you frequent this? Wherever you frequently find yourself is your frequency. Think about it. I use that example of the building. Let's see. Maybe it'll pop up. Pop up like toast. This image that it's a drawing, of course, a famous little drawing. Maybe it's one of these. No, it's here, but I won't waste time looking for it. But it's this representation of a building that represents your inner world, your emotional world. I'm like talking into this book. I hope you can hear me. And oh, here it is. You guys hear it. Okay. So pretend this is you. You are a building emotionally. You have a basement and you have a penthouse, an emotional basement, and all the emotions that exist, okay, in the human experience. And we have all of them. When something bad happens, we're going to find ourselves in an emotional basement. We're human. That's okay. But are we going to dwell there? Are we going to live there, send out our address and Christmas cards and have everybody meet us there? No. So it's okay to be here for a period of time, like Jill Bolte Taylor taught us a couple videos ago about the 90 seconds to a chemical reaction, which is an emotion in our body. And if we stay in it for more than 90 seconds, we're perpetuating it, you know? So this emotional basement in the penthouse, when we frequent, so this is what I use. Okay, here's another slide. So this is the way I like to describe frequency and vibration. Okay, I'm gonna do a master class on this. Okay. Think about we have the basement and the penthouse, and then we have floor, what did I say? Floor 4, floor 5, floor 1, 2, 3, all the way, right? Just an example. But think about metaphorically, this is your representation of your emotions. What floor are you on? Say that's your frequency. What frequency do you find yourself on? What station, right? If we're tuning a radio, what frequency? Over here, 102.7 Kiss FM in Los Angeles, right? In the Inland Empire, there's 99.1, Power 106. These are all just Coast 103.5 for all the Southern Californians. Coast 103.5 with Karen Sharp. All right. Love songs on the coast. But these are different frequencies that we tune our radio dial to. So think about each floor just like a station on a radio. Each floor is a frequency, and on each floor, each frequency, there's a different vibration. There's a different feel to each floor. Okay. So she's saying, think about your inner world as your atmosphere, right? The atmosphere, like not just like atmosphere, the way we, like this restaurant had a really nice atmosphere. Like think about the atmosphere in the universe, the energetic atmosphere, our atmosphere, right? The weather. right? The weather, the atmosphere. Think about the atmosphere in your inner building, okay? She says, place yourself as frequently as possible in this atmosphere. So think about the atmosphere as like a certain vibration, like different stations, radio stations have a certain vibe. Country, that's a whole vibe in itself. That's a whole feel. It's a whole energy. It's like when you're in the mood to listen to country music. Or rock. You're in the mood to rock out. Is it heavy metal? Do you want to listen to classical music? That's a certain vibe. Do you want to listen to pop music? That's a vibe. Rap music, that's a whole nother vibe. So you it's like we have all these vibes, we have all these frequencies, all these channels, all these floors within us, right? Moods, so to speak. And so whatever floor you frequent is the vibe that you are into. You're attracted to that vibe. And when you're on floor 5, frequency 5, that's because you're vibing at that level, right? It's like, what's a vibration? It's our emotions, it's our feelings. Okay. So, depending on how we feel and our emotions will put us on a certain floor. So, if we're vibing at a really low, deep, dark sadness, anger, grief, we're going to be in the basement floor, basement frequency. People who are always complaining or angry or mad, that is a very low vibration, heavy, dense energy. It's like when you've been around someone, it's like, ooh, they're very low vibration. They're heavy. They're dragging me down. They're ruining the party. They're party poopers. That's like, say you threw a penthouse party and you had a basement person come up, it's going to drag the whole party down to like basement energetically unless you get them out. How many times have you been around a coworker? You guys are all having so much fun. You're in the break room eating the donuts that Susie brought, right? And someone comes in, it's like the Debbie Downer, like the womp womp. It's like it's not fun until that person leaves. And when they leave, it's like collectively a sigh, even if you don't speak about it. But that's what we mean. So I hope this helps because it sure helped me. Think about yourself as a building. We have all kinds of emotions. Every floor represents a certain mood, a certain vibe. And depending on how we're vibing or the mood we're in, will dictate what floor we're on, what frequency we're on. So she's saying when you want something, seek out the atmosphere, create that atmosphere within you, um, and frequent that floor as much as possible. So she's saying keep yourself on the frequency that you want as much as possible. It's probably around here. Like I love me some penthouse vibes and high vibes things. So surround myself with things. Like for example, I have my gardenia candle. I love the smell of this candle. It puts me on a higher frequency because it makes me vibe higher, right? Um, So that's just helpful. I love those visuals. So she's saying, whatever you want, keep that in mind. Put yourself in the atmosphere as frequently as possible. Do not wait for the actual arrival of the time when you will be on this work yourself, but seek out the places where this ideal dominates. Seek out the people who are doing the biggest things in this field and gradually make their acquaintance. It's the whole thing about you're the 5 people you surround yourself with. If you want to be around wealthy business people, like go have a glass of water or a tea at like the restaurants around the New York Stock Exchange, like in New York City. You know what I mean? It's like, sorry, I just had a message come in. It's like frequent those places and you don't have to buy anything. Like go to Rodeo Drive, go window shopping, feel good, go spray on your favorite perfumes at the, counter at the department store. Just put yourself in opulent places that make you feel good if that's what you want. I talk a lot about Las Vegas Boulevard, the south side and the north side and all in between. It's like, what casino do you want to walk around? Where do you want to play the slot machines if that's what you want? It's like you can play the slot machines at Hooters or the slot machines at the Wynn, right? Yes, it's going to be different amounts of money, but it's it's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different frequency. It's a different floor, right? It's like if you've ever been in a building where there is different floors, it's like lower level dwellers that live on like the first floor, like literally does not have access. Their key cards don't get them to the higher levels, like because they do not have access. They don't pay the rent. I mean, this is all these metaphors, but it's so true. And the price we pay to get up on the higher levels, not just physically to the better places and the better views, even in our apartment buildings. Well, it's monetary, money, right? Money gets you there. But when we're talking about energetically, it's awareness. It's the inner investment in awareness, knowing yourself, studying yourself, releasing the low vibrations, the resentments, the criticisms, the grievances, and rising to this inner penthouse, right? It's the penthouse frequency, I call it. So, where do we dwell? I find myself, the more work I do, like right now, I have my TheraTappers. Oh, it's disappeared because it's green. See, you see it's green. My camera, I'm going to restart my computer after this call. I need to upgrade to the new system, but my Zoom has been lagging on these calls. Anyways, it might disappear. There, it's like a four screen. It's the TheraTappers. I think I unboxed these with you guys, but this is we use this in EMDR therapy, like the bilateral stimulation. And I regulate myself with these. So you plug it into this thing and it like gives you a little buzz and you hold the different tappers. I used to use this with my clients when I saw them in person to do the EMDR and just like bilateral stimulation to process things and regulate your nervous system. I am always, now that I'm aware, right? I'm not an 11-year-old nervous, anxious little girl whose heart's palpitating that doesn't know what the hell's causing it. I know exactly what's causing it. It's my thoughts in my mind. There can definitely be substance-induced anxiety. Um, uh, Marijuana is definitely one of them. Caffeine, sugar. There's days where I cannot consume a lot of caffeine or no caffeine at all. So just be careful what you ingest can affect your anxiety levels. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just thought-induced anxiety, right? Um, Mental health wise. So, but just be careful with coffee and stuff because I didn't know that either. All right. So she's saying, don't wait for like your physical penthouse to arrive or your perfect job physically. Don't wait till you get the job. Go inside and get your booty there energetically and emotionally. Even if it's just like for 5 minutes, just daydreaming. That's why vision boards are great. Pinterest, playing those mind movies in your mind. What would it feel like? What would it smell like? How would you dress? Be it already. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, as Neville Goddard would say, the law of assumption. Be it already. What is it? Don't think of your dream situation, think from it. So I am not thinking of the place I want to be. I am already there in my mind. I'm thinking from the place in my imagination. He has a great book called Awakened Imagination. The power of our imagination. What is our imagination, our imaging faculty? Every thought creates an image, and images put together create this seeming constant spaced moving life. And so whatever pictures, whatever images we continue to dwell on, it becomes our movie, like what we end up seeing. So this outward manifestation, physical manifestation, is caused by an inward condition. We truly, through our thoughts and our imaginations, the images, our autosuggestions, imprinting, impress, express. It becomes this world that we see, how we perceive it, our perception of it. Two people can be in the same cafe and be perceiving it totally different. Why? Because they have different things going on from their projector. And you can be in totally different places too because of the thoughts you think. All right, so don't wait for these actual things to arrive. Seek out places, put yourself there, physically put yourself there, and then in your mind, put yourself there too. Seek out the people who are doing the biggest things in your field or whatever you're interested in and gradually make their acquaintance. Do not rush them. Do not force yourself into their company. Don't be pushy. Remember the rule stated once before, and one which will be stated many times hereafter, that it is by giving to, not in trying to get from, people that we win them to us. This method is not only fair, but invariably successful. Okay, let me check my mic. Oh, there it is. Okay. Make yourself useful, helpful, inspiring, and pretty soon you will have made yourself indispensable, for these are qualities the whole world admires and responds to. People will seek you, make a place for you, give you opportunities, and the rest is easy. Before you try to do anything for them or with them, however, make yourself one of them at heart. So you're one of them already in your mind. You might not be on the team. You might not be in the room with them, but in your heart you are. In your mind you are. Be it before you actually physically become it. Learn what it really is they are doing, what the movement actually stands for, what its history has been. Familiarize yourself with its great personalities and study their lives, as well as the subject itself. Otherwise, you will be at a disadvantage when you meet the representatives of this great movement. Furthermore, it will make you uninteresting to them. I love you because you love the things I love is something to remember. Okay, she's using a quote. I love you because you love the things I love is something to remember. Okay, so she's saying people, you can win people over simply like think about people who are into the same, it's like you immediately connect with them. You immediately resonate and like them if they like the same music you like or they believe the same thing. It's like there's just an instant connection and resonance between you. So we love people because they love the same things as us at first. Of course, there's always, we continue to evaluate people and their character and all that jazz. But she's saying like first impressions, you will be accepted into a group. It's like, think about it. When you are passionate about scuba diving and you go to a scuba diving class, everybody there is into scuba diving and you get along with them immediately because you all share that same passion because you guys all love the same things. That's great. Yeah, get around people who are into what you're into. It's like-minded people. That is why, especially if you're into bettering yourself, personal development, spiritual development, the awareness, so we can get up to the higher levels. Because when we get to the inner penthouse, we're going to see the outer penthouse, to be honest, whatever it looks like to us. It just gets us there quicker. It gets us in that vibration and that frequency because we frequently stay there in that emotion and that feeling. We dwell there already. All right. In this connection, let me give you two widely different illustrations from life. A beautiful young college woman came to me some years ago and said she had ambitions to be a missionary, but did not know how to go about realizing them. She had been brought up in a dry farming region in Nevada, far away from any church, and did not contact Christian people or Christian ideals until she entered the University of California. Immediately, she became deeply interested and, as was natural to one of her spiritual nature, wanted to do something to help. She had decided as a freshman that she wanted to do this work, but when she came to me in the last semester of her junior year, she had gone no further toward preparing for it than 3 attendances to church every Sunday. The whole idea had been so new to her, she did not know where to begin, and she was too timid to admit that the facts about the Christian religion so familiar. Let me read this again. Okay, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Okay. She decided as a freshman that she wanted to do this work, but when she came to me in the last semester of her junior year, she had gone so no further toward preparing for it than 3 attendances at church every Sunday. The whole idea had been so new to her, she did not know where to begin, and she was too timid to admit that the facts about the Christian religion, so familiar to all the other girls, were utterly unfamiliar to her. She had been afraid to make any move for fear of exposing this ignorance. Can you relate? Like you wanted so badly to be a part of something, but everybody else knew more than you, and then you were just afraid to ask questions. Right here is the best place to say that if you want to get anything worthwhile, you must not be above confessing lack of information whenever necessary to get information. Such a one will always remain ignorant, while he who asks and admits he doesn't know will grow into knowledge. Don't be afraid to admit. How many times, because I've been there, I used to be a prideful little jerk, not wanting anybody to know that I didn't know what a word meant or have somebody repeat that. Like, what does that word mean? I don't care anymore. Like, I live on here, I'll be like, what? I've never seen this word. And I'll ask Siri and I'll look up the definition or where a place is. Like, look, I'm from the United States. I grew up. I did not memorize the map, but I mean, know the general areas of like where the states are. But sometimes I still have to look it up and be like, if you're from the United States, you don't know where that is. Like, no, I don't study it every day. I'm not passionate about geography. I know the basics. You know what I mean? But like, judge me all you want. I don't care. How about them apples? You know what I mean? It's like people will judge other people because they know something and someone, you don't know that? No, I don't. I don't know that. You know, people are like shocked. It's like nobody knows everything. And so let's be careful with that because I definitely catch myself doing that, like judging someone because they don't know something. But then I catch them, I'm like, why, Carla? Like, just because you know it, you think everyone else should know it, you know? So, yeah, side note. Anywho. All right, so do not be afraid to ask for help. God, that's such a good example. If you want to do anything worthwhile, you must not be above. Don't be above it. Don't be prideful. Be humble. Be a humble student and admit when you don't know and ask for help. So if you want to do anything worthwhile, you must not be above confessing lack of information whenever necessary to get information. Such a one will always remain ignorant, while he who asks and admits he doesn't know will grow into knowledge. It's like the person in the classroom, like always asking questions. We're like all annoyed with them, like, oh, what a nerd, what an idiot. But like that person does great. And us sitting back here don't know any difference and don't even care and judging that person. It's like, good for them. They'll probably be the wealthiest person in the classroom, and they usually are, you know? All right. The ignorant man doesn't fool anybody anyhow, except that he is usually considered more ignorant than he really is, while the man who is frank about what he doesn't know is the one we tie to. A national convention of the YWCA was soon to be held in a nearby city, and I recommended to this young woman that she attended every session she possibly could, not as a participant at all, but to listen and look and absorb everything she could. Okay, so I think Elsie Lincoln Benedict is talking about the girl who wanted to be a missionary. She wanted to, what did she want to do? She wanted to be a missionary, yeah, and she didn't know. So I think she's saying she was recommending that this woman attend the YWCA and absorb everything. And the girl said, what can I learn? What can I learn that way? She inquired. I will be just a spectator. I won't know what it's all about. I want to get at the inside facts. I want to know what they are doing and why and who everybody is and how I can get into it. She had thought so much about her conscious training and knew so little about the necessity for the far more important development of the subconscious that she was much surprised when I said, go there and throw yourself into the atmosphere, just as a man who is trying to swim goes into the water. Let it submerge you, sweep over you, swallow you up. Don't try to figure it out first thing. What everybody is doing and why. Give the ideals, aims, hopes, and aspirations connected with it a chance to soak into your soul. Stop thinking or studying or wondering or analyzing or judging about it. Just let yourself feel what is going on. Sense the bigger things back of the speeches, motions, businesses, and committee meetings. In other words, get into the spirit. Yes, get into the spirit of it. Bob Proctor always used to have a study Thomas Troward, and there is a chapter in, oh my God, I have the book here. Let's get it. I'm in my workout pants. Don't judge me. The Power. Oh, Lord. I have many of his books, but okay. Ooh, what book is this? I'm finding all these books, y'all. Okay. Oh my God, I bought this little book here. What is this? Look, I just find little gems. My little Paramahansa Yogananda Scientific Affirmations for Healing. I read on my channel here one of these. Let's open it up. Let's see what it says. The right guidance of reason. Follow the suggestions outlined below to stimulate right reasoning and mental activity. Number one, read good books and carefully digest their message. We're doing that. Number two, if you read 1 hour, then write for 2 hours and reflect for 3 hours. This is the proportion that should be observed to cultivate a power of reason, to think for yourself. That's the reasoning faculty. Number three, occupy your mind with inspiring ideas. Do not waste time in negative thinking. You guys, look at this. Everybody's saying the same thing. I love this work. Cheese and crackers. Occupy your mind with inspiring ideas. Do not waste time in negative thinking. These are scientific affirmations of healing. This is Paramahansa Yogananda. He wrote the autobiography of a yogi. He has healing centers in Los Angeles, two on Sunset Boulevard, and then one, I think, in, is it El Segundo? Encinitas. Encinitas. Okay. And you can visit there anytime. It's really nice. Well, the Sunset West Side Sunset Boulevard one is nice. I mean, the other one's nice too, but I went to a service there. It was really cool. Okay. Adopt the best plan for your life that you can formulate by the exercise of reason. 5, strengthen your reasoning powers by studying the laws of the mind outlined in the teachings of the Self-Realization Fellowship. That's the place that he founded, or that are based on his teachings. 6, use the affirmations in this book, uttered with soul force, to develop the power of your mind. You guys, affirmations, auto-suggestion. That's what she was talking about. Ancient and modern psychologists have pointed out that in the innate intelligence of man is capable of infinite expansion. Number 7, obey physical, social, and moral laws. By believing them to be controlled by a superior spiritual law, you will eventually rise above all lesser laws and be guided wholly by spiritual law. My goodness. This was such a treat to accidentally open this. God bless him. But there was this little, you know what? Somebody gave this to me. I used to bartend. It's a little laminated, I don't know, this is what it says, but I kept it. I don't know why. It says, the soul is dyed the color of its thoughts. Think only those things that are in line with your principles and can bear the full light of day. The content of your character is your choice. Day by day, what you choose, what you think, and what you do is who you have become. Your integrity is your destiny. It is the light that guides your way. Y'all, something's speaking to me today. Wow, this book. Wow. And then I have this folded up little paper in here. This is probably a private personal note. Uh-huh, it is. Wow, this is a gratitude list. Mm. I think this was from some rough times back in like 2017. I remember when I wrote these. My gratitude. Wow. I wanted to pick that up. You can probably find it on Amazon, but I love him. That was a whole side note. She was talking about to this person. I don't know if it was the same girl who wanted to do the mission work, but she's telling somebody, look, stop thinking or judging or wondering or analyzing. Just go in and submerge yourself and soak in the ideas of whatever you want. Don't try to figure everything out. Get into the spirit of it. And that reminded me of Thomas Troward, um, the Dory Lectures of Mental Science, the Edinburgh Lectures of Mental Science, and then I believe it's this is like a big book of different compilation. The Hidden Power. The Hidden Power. 1921 he wrote this. And um there's the Spirit of Opulence, which we studied together, and then there is entering into the spirit of it. 641. And I printed it out. Oh my God, you guys. This is from when I used to study with Bob Proctor. Oh. But this is not it. Anyways, I was in his master class and he used to have us just read the same paragraph over and over and over and over and over again. Wow. I had my handwritten notes that I used to ask Bob here. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Okay. Yeah, the hidden power I had so what did I say it was? It was page 6. This is a fun little detour. 641. Okay. 641. Oh, and touching lightly. He used to have us reading touching lightly. Ah, wow. This is from Neville, Awakened Imagination from the Power of Awareness. And then Troward's Touching Lightly. The Inner Circle Call, Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020. Oh, that was from where this was. Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020 was when we studied this with Bob. This is actually, this is a photocopy of his book and him underlining it. This is a photocopy of his book, I believe. Let's look at it together. This is so cool. This is a photocopy. I'm pretty sure it's of his book. I love him so much. God bless him. Okay, 641. This is so good. This is so good. Do you guys get passion? See, this is my passion. Entering into the spirit of it. Let's just read a couple sentences. Entering into the spirit of it. What a common expression. And yet, how much it really means. How absolutely everything. We enter into the spirit of an undertaking, into the spirit of a movement, into the spirit of an author, even into the spirit of a game. And it makes all the difference to both us and that into which we enter. A game without any spirit is a poor affair, and association in which there is no spirit falls to pieces, and a spiritless undertaking is sure to be a failure. On the other hand, the book which is meaningless to the unsympathizing reader is full of life and suggestion. Okay, did I read that right? On the other hand, the book which is, meaningless to the unsympathizing reader is full of life and suggestion to the one who enters into the spirit of the writer. The man who enters into the spirit of the music finds a spring of refreshment in some fine recital, which is entirely missed by the cold critic who comes only to judge according to the standard of a rigid rule. And so on and so on in every case that we can think of. If we do not enter into the spirit of a thing, it has no invigorating effect upon us, and we regard it as dull, insipid, and worthless. This is our everyday experience, and these are the words in which we express it. And the words are well chosen. They show our intuitive recognition of the spirit as the fundamental reality in everything, however small or however great. Let us be right as to the spirit of a thing, and everything else will successfully follow. I got a lot of things happening, y'all. Oh my God. I can't even, as my mom would say, I can't even can. Is that from Saturday Night Live? I can't even can. So whatever, I'll announce it now, but it's not going to happen until April. So I'm going to do a community, monthly community. It's going to have like a minimum of 4 live calls. Like here, like you'll be with me in the Zoom room. Um, and it's going to be the penthouse frequency. That's what I'm calling it. And it's going to be a month, weekly, live study call where we're gonna read together and study together and have an opportunity for like hot seat coaching, right? Um, I love therapeutic coaching and to get into groups of people, like group coaching, group teaching, like a mastermind. And maybe I'll start with your hidden power, Thomas Troward. I'm so excited about this. I really, really am. And so it's March now. So tomorrow I'm actually starting to roll out my new offers. I know I have some offers, but they're changing. Um, and I feel so good about it. Um, and they're offers for everybody. I mean, I already offer free things, so it's anywhere from free to higher end coaching, but there's going to be something for everybody because I was that person. Um, I needed support at the level I was ready at. And I have, of course, as I always say here, I was a YouTube universityer, still am, free 99, but I've also invested six figures in my personal development, from zero to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you have to be ready for that. Not everybody is. And so I'm really big on having things accessible and affordable to people. And I didn't know how. And I'm going to do a whole video about, especially in the personal development and manifestation world, there's a lot of unhealthy, toxic rhetoric, rules, unspoken rules, gaslighting, um, and just really unethical um, money habits. Let's just put it that way. So that I love her. I love this woman so much. And the fact that it reminded me of getting into the spirit of it. And then I went to go see Thomas Troward, and then I found my Paramahansa Yogananda affirmations, and they're all saying the same thing. But entering to the spirit of it, it reminded me of one time, it was the very first time I was ever on an airplane and traveled because I did not travel when I was a kid. Like we drove across the border to TJ because my family lives there. They were from central Mexico and then they moved up to Tijuana. And but that was our vacation. Like never had a piece of luggage, put all of our stuff in like paper bags. It was fun. I didn't know any difference until you grow up and people make fun of you and like, oh, we're poor. I didn't know. I really didn't care because I was instilled with like really big self-confidence. Um, but anyways, besides the point, I didn't travel. So my first travel like airplane was like 19 years old. This woman, Kim Shepard, I love you so much. She's such a mentor to me. Um, and she paid for my flight and everything. And it just like opened up this whole new world of like, wow, airplanes, travel, luggage. I don't even know what suitcase I brought. I probably borrowed it from somebody. I'm cracking up now because I think I remember what suitcase it was. Remember like in the 90s, like really old floral fabric, ugly cloth. I still love me some cloth luggage. I have the plastic ones too, the shell, hard shell, but you can just put more stuff in the cloth ones. Anyways, it was so ugly and hideous. I'm pretty sure. I would love to see photos of that when I was 19. I do have pictures somewhere of my first trip to New Orleans. Let's see if I could find them. Anyways, the whole point, getting into the spirit of it, you can go a place, you can go visit a place and get into the spirit of it. Okay. You can learn about the culture, she's saying, learning about the culture, learning about the history, doing your homework, getting into the spirit of it before you go to a place. And the experience is so different. Think about people who travel and they're like, oh, I was unimpressed. It was like, whatever. It was just like, but if they did the work ahead of time to learn the history. So on this trip, we had done so much research because we were filming this like it was like, she had an idea to do, a travel show and I was actually the host. And so we did all of our research and interviewed people. That trip was not only the first trip that I've ever taken, like on an airplane, it lives in my soul. The memories imprinted because I was in the spirit of it. Same with Costa Rica. I can't say that about many places, but when I prepare, when I get into the spirit of it, it takes things to a whole new level. So think about, like Thomas Troward said, are you getting into the spirit of your life, of your day, of the people you're with? Are you really living? Are you filled with spirit? Are you inspired in spirit? Or is it just you feel neutral, numb? Like this is such a big thing. Wow. I wonder if I could search, what would it be? I think it was no, I don't know if there was any. You know when you try to search your photos, let's look, new or no. Mm-mm. New Orleans. Oh wait, no. No. You know what? Maybe they are no. I'll try to find some later anyways. They were fun photos, let me tell you that much. They were fun photos. Wow, that was just a whole journey. Okay, so she's saying get into the spirit of it. If the spirit does not carry you along, you will know for sure you are not meant for this work. It will cause more training in which more training would be useless. So she's telling this person to go to this YWCA event. Um, oh, she is telling this girl. She goes, you know, go to this YWCA and just listen. And the girl goes, what the hell am I going to go there for? What is this going to help? And she goes, stop thinking. Don't just let it wash over you. Get into the spirit of it. If the spirit does not carry you along, you will know for sure you are not meant for this work of being a missionary and the Christianity, in which case more training would be useless. So you'll know right then and there if you can't get into the spirit of this conference, if this missionary work is for you or not. I recommended that she join the university YWCA, enroll in classes devoted to the history of Christianity, that she familiarizes herself with the Bible, and that she read all she could find on the lives of the great modern preachers. But most necessary of all in her case was a sympathetic agreement with all that Jesus taught. If she gave herself full and enjoyably to these a solid foundation would be laid, and the rest could be added later. But if she felt impelled to withhold the best of her conscious self from the master's teachings, her subconscious would never yield up its fullest efficiency. All these things furnish the subconscious with the raw materials it must have for manufacturing the finished article for you later on. Okay, so all these things furnish the subconscious with the raw materials in it must have for manufacturing the finished article for you later on. The other example is as far removed from this one as could be well imagined. Okay, so she's going to tell us another story. We will continue tomorrow. Thank you for staying here with me if you're still listening. This is just how my mind works, and I'm so grateful. So I'm launching that community in April. More information to come all this month. I'm going to use all of March to really prepare and get this going. It's been in the workings for a long time, actually. I have my board up here working on my plans, but I'm really excited. So I can't wait. So keep an eye out for that. Again, thank you for all of your support. If you want any more information, all of the information is then in the description box below. And I will continue. I will see you tomorrow. I'm so excited about this week. It's March. Happy March. Spring is coming. Spring is coming. The 20th of March is the official day of spring. So we have 18 more days. 17 more days tomorrow. And I'm excited. Okay. Have a beautiful evening and have a beautiful week.